It's Friday, May 8th, and welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Our top story, a criminal act. That's how Environment and National Beautification Minister Trevor Prescott today described an unsightly pile of rubbish dumped at President Kennedy Drive, St. Michael. The waste included galvanized sheets, nails, oil cans, windows, trees, and other items. Prescott, who lamented that sanitation workers had cleaned the area just on Tuesday, did not hide his disgust.
What would cause a human being that no other persons have the responsibility to come here and clean the area? Why would a human being come and do something like this that is so inhumane? This is deplorable. This is deplorable. I believe that we, in addition to looking at what action we will take in the future to make sure we catch any culprit that carry on this exercise, I think that I think that we have to carry out a thorough investigation so that we can determine who the individual or individuals are. It is unlikely, from just a simple assessment, it is unlikely that any one individual or two individuals put this here.
He said investigations will be conducted to bring those responsible to justice and serve notice that his ministry will take action to arrest the problem of illegal dumping across the island.
We have to find out exactly who brought it here, and as long as I find out who is the person and the SSA finds out who is the person who dumped this waste here, we're going to take the most severe form of action in order to ensure that these people are penalized for this kind of behavior. It has to be deterred one way or the other. And I will tell you this, we can also have to move swiftly to put some mechanisms in place, especially in areas across the country where we're having examples of this kind of behavior. We're going to have to put some mechanism in place. I wouldn't say what it's going to be, but I'm going to give you the assurance that whatever we put in place, that on the next occasion we'll be able to identify exactly who brought it here, what kind of truck it is, and hopefully number on the truck and the individual that's driving the truck.
A warning today to businesses currently operating without the government's authorization. Small Business and Commerce Minister Dwight Sutherland says they could face action. Last week, Prime Minister Mia Mottley announced an ease in lockdown measures that included the reopening of some businesses. Speaking to members of the media following a 2-hour tour of the Bridge Supermarket at Charles Road Bridge, St. George, and Massey Stores Supermarket in Warrens, Sutherland cautioned that those who flout the directives will have to give account.
The government that I am part of is a very serious government. While we are transparent and we value all stakeholders' input, we still don't value recklessness. We still don't deal with we treat with indiscipline. And I'm certain the Attorney General, who has the responsibility for certification in terms of which businesses should be operating, once it is known to him and is known to the government, the subcommittee of cabinet will investigate. And I can speak on their behalf. I know they will address the matter in a holistic way, in a way so as not to cause any animosity, and also to let business know that it's not business as usual. We have to adhere to the protocols that have been put in place to stem the spread of this virus. And if it means closing down businesses, I can guarantee that is open to the Attorney General through the Emergency Management Act legislation that has been passed, and he will institute it.
In other news this Friday, COVID-19 cases in Barbados moved to 83 today. The latest patient is a 72-year-old female CARICOM resident. She is the only new positive case among 89 tests conducted yesterday by the Best de Santos Public Health Laboratory. Health authorities report that she has no recent travel history and investigations into the source of contact are ongoing. She brings the number in isolation to 23. No one was released from isolation today, so the number of recovered patients remains at 53. There have been 7 deaths. A big helping hand for vulnerable households. The Sandy Lane Charitable Trust announced today that it will provide $1.5 million in grocery vouchers over the next 6 weeks to help families impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Trustee Philippa Chalice says the program will provide disadvantaged families across all 30 constituencies with vouchers to purchase groceries at 8 selected supermarkets.
The COVID-19 pandemic has closed our borders and closed our businesses and has left many families without food on their table. And we felt we needed to help now. So, in order to support the nation through this critical time, we have established the SLCT Feed a Family programme. $1.5 million worth of supermarket food vouchers are to be issued. These will be distributed in the next 6 weeks through the 30 constituency offices to those families in most need, with a potential $1.5 million top-up if needed. That would bring the total to $3 million in 3 months.
Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw praised the charity for its response while noting the significant contribution of private donors during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't think a lot of people understand how much Barbados has been able to stay afloat over the course of the last couple of years with the assistance of not just the government, but certainly a number of private donors and a number of persons who have made Barbados their home. And to them, I want to say a special thank you for the assistance that they have given to the country, to the people of Barbados, and to thank them for the love that they have shown to this small island in making Barbados a special place in their hearts.
Activity at the new vendors market on the Mighty Granite Highway got underway today. President of Barven, Alistair Alexander, is happy with the new location, which presently has 72 vendors. And he told Barbados Today even more vendors are anxious to do business at the venue.
We don't have enough space for the people that are asking, right? And that's literally hundreds. Okay? You understand?
So, but how many people were interested in coming here?
Real people, now people are telling you, right? People every day are asking me, people every day, right? From all sectors, from throughout the whole society, right? People in the village, adjacent to us, okay? There's so many people, so many calls. My phone is ringing all the time.
One vendor on site said the new market is a good move.
A great idea. It's a cleaner place, much cleaner, and the spaces. So it will happen. It just need cooperation. It will happen.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now in St. Lucia, long lines at various outlets around the island as the ban on the sale of alcohol is lifted. But some fear the move could lead to an increase in lawlessness. More in this report from HDS News Force.
St. Lucians are finally getting the opportunity to quench their thirst for alcohol. After over a month of the suspension of liquor licenses, alcoholic drinks are back on the shelves from Friday, May 8th, but certain conditions apply. The Uptown Liquor and Grocery Store in Vieux-Fort saw a line wrapped around the block as customers rushed to stock up on alcohol. One customer is worried that COVID-19 cases may spike amid the restoration of liquor licenses. Officials continue to caution people against substance abuse and its harmful effects. They remind the public that substance abuse can weaken the immune system and render them more susceptible to COVID-19.
It creates a means of depleting the existing health resources and also social issues like domestic violence and child maltreatment and abuse. Exposure to substance abuse further places vulnerable groups in a more susceptible position, thus compromising their immune system.
On the international scene, hundreds of protesters gathered in front of a Georgia courthouse on Friday to decry the killing of an unarmed black man in February and the delay in charging 2 white men in the shooting captured on video that was released earlier this week. We get the details from Reuters Television.
There's a problem in America.
Hundreds of protesters gathered Friday outside of a courthouse in Brunswick, Georgia, to denounce the killing of an unarmed black man.
I would never do nothing else for this courtroom.
And to express outrage for the delay in charges brought against 2 white suspects for the February 23rd shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. Former police officer Gregory McMichael and his 34-year-old son Travis were arrested on Thursday and charged with aggravated assault and murder. On Friday, Director of the Georgia Department of Investigation, Vic Reynolds, defended the charges, saying the GBI only got involved in the case late Tuesday evening.
We applied the law to the facts in this case and came up pretty quickly with a solid belief that there's sufficient probable cause to charge the McMichaels with felony murder and aggravated assault. I can tell you that if we didn't believe it, we wouldn't have arrested them.
No peace.
The February shooting was captured on video that surfaced on social media earlier this week, igniting outrage and protests. The video shows Arbery jogging down a narrow 2-lane road and around the McMichaels' white pickup truck, which had stopped in the right lane with its driver's door open. As Arbery crosses back in front of the truck, a gunshot is fired. Arbery is then seen struggling with a man holding a long gun as a second man stands in the bed of the truck brandishing a revolver. 2 more shots are heard before Arbery stumbles and falls face down onto the asphalt. The GBI said it was Travis McMichael who fired the fatal round. A district attorney appointed to the case said just days ago that he would ask a county grand jury to decide whether the 2 men should face charges.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.